on you, Spider Woman.
God, I'm turning this off. I couldn't even use the audio from before because of that.
That was the first thing I did. I didn't look to see if it was on there. I can't believe they cut that part out.
Did they cut it?
Yeah, they did. On my part, they did. They didn't put it on our deal. I was kind of hoping to have it on there.
I didn't use the audio because of that. So anyway.
What you got?
Rich Schmid is obviously one of the more experienced guys in the sense that he started one full season. I mean, obviously it was his first year at center, but why is he better now for you than he was?
He's really good at playing his position. He does center things very well. Sometimes you can have a really good athlete and a really good prospect, but they don't do center things all that well. It's a very, very hard position to play. I think it's the second hardest position to play on a football team, and he has a real knack for it. But he is probably the most improved player on our football team over the last couple of years, and he has really gotten a lot better. He has a lot of thickness in his hands and his wrists, and he plays strong with his hands and can get a hold of the defensive lineman and hold his ground. He has a lot of suddenness about him in a small space. He has a good flexibility. He can play with good leverage. So he does a lot of things very well that you have to do to be a good center. I think he's a very, very good center. I think right now he's our best offensive lineman. I think he's right now one of the better centers that I've been around. I think he plays his position very well. I wouldn't have believed this 3 or 4 years ago, but I think he may have a chance to play football beyond Purdue. I think he plays his position that well, and he really has a lot of passion for it right now, and he plays hard, and he's got a little bit of a mean streak to him, and that goes a long ways. And he has really, really developed over the last couple of years. I'm surprised, that he has made as much progress as he has. I had no idea there was that good an athlete inside of that body when we first recruited him. He sure had us all fooled.
You decided how you're going to divvy up teams for the spring game?
We're going to try to have 2 teams and have a black and a gold, and we'll do it kind of the same way we did last year, where our ones are going against our ones as much as we possibly can, and our twos are against our twos as much as we possibly can. So there's not many mismatches, but I think we can go out there and have a very similar format to what we had last year, which is good. I thought it went well last year. But we're going to go out there and entertain the fans and have fun and not get anybody hurt. That's our 3 main goals for the spring game. Entertain the fans and have a lot of fun playing and keep them safe.
Just from a depth standpoint, are you still in okay shape going into the spring game?
Yeah, we have less guys injured now than we had when we started spring practice. We counted up this morning, and we only have 4 guys that are injured as a result of spring practices, and a lot of guys were out before we came into spring ball, and now they're still out, but they're getting some limited work, or maybe they're out getting some limited work, and now they're a go. Where the coaches are being cautious with them in some ways, but we're getting a lot more reps with a lot more guys, and we have finished the spring in pretty good shape from a health standpoint. We won't play some of these guys in the spring game just to be safe with them, but we're getting some reps out there in practice with Gabe Holmes and Peters Dry and some of those guys, but they probably won't get a lot in the spring game or may not get any at all. We'll have to see where the balance is at personnel-wise, but we have rebounded from an injury standpoint this spring.
Are Peters and Gabe kind of the 2 main ones that you've gotten back, or who else? Back?
We've got a bunch of them back, but Peters is the main one because he was a guy that I wasn't sure, what the status would be for him going in the next season, and they cleared him, and we were very careful with him. Throughout the course of the spring, and as spring has gone on, he's gotten more and more and more. We have him in some of the team practice parts segments right now, and in the one-on-one pass pro. He's been going full speed, and I think he's just fine. Beatty's a guy that's he had his hand operated on or had his hand reset, whatever it was, and he's out but limited. He gets a little bit. Bolden is out. Cottom is out. Dry is a go but limited. Foy is good to go. Gabe Holmes is out but limited. We get him some reps, but we keep him in green. We don't let anybody go live on him. Heaney's been out all spring with an illness. Kitchen's out. He won't get any. And then Torwudzo's out. But we have 7 out right now on offense. And at one point in time, we had, I think, double digits out, about 10 starters. Right now we have 7 out. And 3 or 4 of those are guys that got injured in spring, but they're very minor. And then on defense, Namdi's out. He's still out. Feitner's a go, but he's limited. He may not get in the spring game. Heineger's been out with a back injury. Ryan Isaacs is out. He won't get in the spring game, but he's getting a little bit of limited work in practice. Mike Lee is still out. and then Jesse Schmidt, the snapper, is still out, but everybody else is a go. So we'll go into the scrimmage with maybe a dozen guys out. When we started spring ball off, I think we had about 15 or 20. So we're in better shape now than we were when we started. And that's not easy to do, you know.
You were talking about today kind of being the last blue-collar day, so to speak. How did it go? What did you guys focus on today?
We had a blast. We really did. We had a lot of fun out there, and it was really important for us to finish the spring practice strong, guys into it. Obviously, we still have to do a better job from an execution standpoint. I think we're executing well right now, but not to the level that we need to when it comes to playing the games next year. But we have a lot of new stuff on defense, and I think the guys have done outstanding picking it up, and a lot of stuff in on offense. But it was very spirited today, and there were several things that we wanted to get done today. We wanted to go out and practice hard and execute as well as we possibly could, but there are several things that we were looking for to be executed to some degree of excellence, or to a standard, if you will. And one of them was lining up fast, and I thought we did a good job with that today. Our pursuit on defense, I thought we really did a good job with that today. When the ball's on the ground, the defensive guys picking it up, scooping it up, and everyone hustling and getting out in front of the guy that has the ball, scooping the score. And I thought we did a good job with that. So a lot of good signs today as far as the standards of some little things, but we still have to be able to execute better. Our defense has made a lot of progress. We're very strong across the defensive front, and those guys get after it, and sometimes they can disrupt some things, and that makes it tough on the offense, and we're fast in the back half, so the defense is getting some takeaways. The offense has to do a better job with ball security. That's kind of been the story throughout the course of spring, and some of that's on the offense, but a lot of that has to do with the defense playing like they're playing right now. So a lot of good signs out there today and throughout the course of spring.
There's some talk across the country about, maybe trying to schedule an opponent for a spring game. Is that something that you would be in favor of, just maybe to create a little bit more buzz for these type of events?
I think it'd be fun, but again, right now when we go against ourselves, we're in control of what we call, what we show, what we see, and then we don't have to win the game Saturday. If you played someone else, you didn't win the game, is that going to create the right kind of buzz? And maybe you won't go out there and open up the playbook because it's only spring ball, so you play it close to the vest, So it's a great idea, but someone's going to be unhappy when it's all said and done. You can bet on that, I like it because it's more football. I wish we could scrimmage them and not have anyone there. I'd like to see that happen.
Does that.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. In the old days, back when I played, that makes it really back in the old days, but we had JV teams, and you'd play 2 or 3 teams. When I played at Eastern Kentucky, a million years ago, we played Georgetown, and we played the University of Kentucky. We had 2 or 3 JV games that we played every year, and that was a lot of fun. So playing someone in the spring would be a lot of fun. But we have so much work to do and focus on our own team. I don't want to have to really focus on trying to beat an opponent right now. And with the way recruiting is right now, you can't believe how much time we're having to spend on recruiting right now, just because the way things have sped up, the way the process has turned into a foot race. So our hands are full, our plates are full right now. There's not any time left. We're getting up in the morning really early and working till real late at night and doing football and recruiting. So preparing for a game right now probably wouldn't be the first thing on my agenda, but it sure sounds like it'd be fun.
Well, somebody else has to prepare.
Yeah, let them do the work and no one complain. And boy, that'd be a great idea.
I'm doing a story in the 6th-year process, and obviously Robert just went through that. How involved were you? I mean, what did you have to do kind of to help that process along?
Nothing. I don't get a vote.
Did you? No, I know that. But in gathering information and stuff, did you have to write a statement for him, a personal statement that was submitted with the packet?
No.
Okay.
A lot of it has to do with medical records,
right,
and then the compliance officer taking care of all the paperwork and making sure that it's done proper and on time and through a certain protocol. But you have to qualify for it, and I can't do anything to qualify anyone for an extra year of eligibility. It has to be documentation, medical records, a whole lot of groundwork has to be laid if it's for medical reasons. Sometimes it can be for a personal tragedy, and those are harder to document.
Right.
I think Keith Smith is an example of that. A guy that had something that happened unfortunate along the way, and you might not have enough documentation to validate that being a year that you deserve to get back. So I had nothing to do with it, other than wanting him back here and holding a scholarship for him.
Right. Was it tough for you in the waiting game part? I mean, obviously for the student athlete, that's always the most difficult part of not knowing really what's going to happen. Even in his case, when he thought he seemed to have a good case to get it, you still
Right.
don't know.
would have really been surprised if he hadn't have gotten it. If
Yeah.
there was anyone that has enough medical documentation and things on the calendar to get a sixth year, it would be Robert Marv. So I would have really been surprised if he hadn't have gotten it. It wasn't like a nerve-wracking experience for me because I don't have any control over it. So I can't sit around there and worry about catastrophes that I don't have any control over, you know. But I was pretty sure he was going to get it, and it would have been a shame if he hadn't because he's a real talent, and he hasn't had a chance to really develop his talent because of injuries. So this is a great opportunity for Robert, and certainly an outstanding opportunity for our team as well.
You talked about him not getting the number of reps because of his injuries since he's come to Purdue. Is that something you can make up? Can he even make up the reps that he's lost? It's like sleep. Can you even make up the hours that you didn't sleep? I mean, can you do that?
You can to some degree.
Right.
You know, he's a great talent, and he has a lot of want to, and people have invested a lot of time in him. So there has been some great groundwork laid, you know, but it's hard to make up, you know, all those reps. But again, he is a great talent, and we're going to get him ready to play. And last year, towards the second half of the season, he was much healthier and able to get a lot of reps in practice. And there were times that Caleb played more in the games and was banged up and beat up some, and Robert was able to come out and take the reins, you know, early in the practices on Sunday and Tuesdays, you know, early in the week. So he caught up a lot last year, you know, reps-wise. And, you know, the quality of reps that you get are probably sometimes more important than the number of reps that you get, you know. But this is a great opportunity for him, and we're going to get him caught up, and he'll help us win next year. And the beauty of it is that he loves football and he wants to play, and he's going to get a chance to do that, and he can help our team. And has enough talent to play at the next level. So he'll play next year and he'll do well. But I think when it's all said and done, people will come try him out, and they'll see the talent that he has, and he'll have a chance to play at the next level. So there's some real promise for Robert Marv at Purdue and even after Purdue.
You were talking about Gabe Holmes earlier. Any thoughts on the tight ends coming into next season? Just on the depth?
I'm really surprised at what we have at the tight end position right now, because a year ago that was one of the leanest positions on our football team. And, you know, Gabe it can be a difference maker for us. He's a great talent. He's one of the more talented tight ends that I've been around in all my years of coaching. And he has a chance to be a top player at our level and continue playing after Purdue. He's a big-time prospect. And then the guy that really has been an unbelievable surprise the last couple of years is Crosby Wright. He is really a good football player. He came here as a walk-on. He had a very limited high school playing experience in football, and he's one of our better football players. He is an extremely low-rep guy. You don't have to show him very many times or tell him very many times, and he does it just right and gets it right almost every time, and he's an exceptional blocker. He, in a lot of ways, is similar to Kyle Adams, maybe a better blocker at the same stage than Kyle Adams was. And I thought Kyle Adams was an awfully good blocker, and he's played some in the NFL. So Crosby Wright, the way he's played, I think has really strengthened our tight end pool. The development of Gabe Holmes has really strengthened our tight end pool. And then Justin Sins, we signed him as a quarterback. He was a quarterback in high school. We recruited him to come here and play tight end, but he hadn't played with his hand on the ground, and he had to develop. But he's big and strong and smart and reliable, and he has really come a long ways in a short period of time. And then Carlos Carvajal is a talent. You know, he's still raw in some ways, but he's 6'7", 245 pounds, and has all kinds of talent. So he has a lot to work with. And then Sterling Carter came last year, mid-year, from a junior college, and we thought that he might be able to help us some last year, and we were able to redshirt him, and he has really developed. He's big. He's 6'5.5", probably 250 pounds, and he's a good blocker, and he's catching the ball well. So it's a position on our football team that was not long ago one of the leanest spots on our football team, and I think going into the season that the tight end position could be one of our strengths. So we've come a long ways to that spot, and they're being coached very well by Coach Pete Nocta, and the tight ends also work with Coach Nord and with Coach Hope and Coach Clark. But I really like what I'm seeing from the tight end position. We're going to be very good at tight end next year.